Welcome back. So we're talking athletics now, in particular long distance running. Over the weekend we had the UE Half Marathon. We have two participants that were involved in different capacities. Curtis Cox, runner, long distance runner, years now. He told me since 1986.
Yeah, 33 years.
Wow, that's a lot of years. And we have somebody behind the timing. This would be Andrea Steuben. Timing of the event, of course. We're going to find out much more about that. And of course, the experience of Curtis Cox. We're going to talk about, well, your experience over the years. You would be considered a legend in long distance running now. Do you see yourself that way in Trinidad and Tobago?
Yeah, well, people say I'm a legend, but I just like to represent the country. You know, I began in 1986, and 33 years after, I'm still representing the country.
Well, we have to ask, how are you able to run for so long and also be within the top 15?
Well, I guess I say DDD. Discipline, determination, dedication. You know, because all sportsmen know that you need discipline. You know, and I decided that I'm going to continue training hard. This year for the UE Half Marathon, I'll be like the Undertaker. My streak was broken because I began in 2004. As the first UE Half Marathon, I came second in 1 hour and 10 minutes. And ever since, like last year, I was 7th in 1:15. This year, I came 11th. You know, because after the C2C marathon in May, I got injured, and since then I was just trying rehabilitation. But so far, I'm feeling good. You know.
So, in terms of how you look at the sport, are you satisfied with the younger runners coming up now? Are they competitive enough on these local running events?
Honestly, the first local did 1:12. You know, I don't know. I don't know his schedule, but I feel like between 1:07 and 1:10. That's a good time for a local, you know, to be up there with the top runners. But if the winner was 1:17 this year, between 1:07 and 1:10 is a good time to really be competitive.
But you're saying competitive, but
yeah.
Is competitive winning a medal for a top local runner? Are you expecting a medal for a top local runner?
Well, I wouldn't say a medal, but at least try and be in the top 3. You know?
We have not had any for some time now.
I think last year Matthew Hagley came second. You know, but this year he was 4th. He just missed the top 3. You know, but I guess with proper training, I guess he could be in the top 3.
So that's it. Proper training alone will get us into the top 3. There's no other differences between international runners.
But you see, the international runners, I guess, like for instance in Trinidad, I work and I also run. Most of those guys, they do it like full time. So they get up, they train, and then, you know, it's easier for them. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And when you look back at your career so far, what would you say was the height of your career?
The height of my career is, I won my first marathon in Winnipeg, Canada. I did 2:32 minutes. And also I won the Trinidad Marathon in 2005. Because the year before I did my best time, which is 21:10. I came second. In 2005 I won in 2:24 minutes. You know, and that was my highlight.
So
I always wanted to win the Trinidad Marathon. Yeah.
So will you be running the Trinidad and Tobago Marathon next year?
Actually, I don't think so, because I ran 30 Trinidad marathons, 30.
Wow.
I think give someone else a chance. You know.
So you're not going for 20 more, 50?
No, actually, I want to go to London next year, April. Mm-hmm. So my main focus now is London next year.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you think about the Trinidad and Tobago Marathon? Has it grown as you've expected?
No, because like in 1989, 1990, you had about 1,000 runners. And this year, I think you had about 100-something runners, which, the standard. Well, see what happened, I feel most of the runners gravitate towards 5K. So I guess that is, you know, because I have a lot of 5K now. Almost every weekend I have a 5K. So most of the runners train for 5Ks. Before it was more like half marathon, 10Ks. You know.
And why do you think that is so?
Easier to train for a 5K than a marathon. A marathon, you have to put in the training. It's 26 miles. 5K is 3 miles. So easier, you know. The average person could train for a 5K. You know.
Now, with the advent of all these new 5K, well, more common, more races taking place more often, we have more races that need to be timed, of course. This is where you come into the picture.
Yes, yes. I have to say about Curtis talking about the 5Ks too. As being involved in a lot of organizing of races, we did notice that events that put on a 10K along a 5K or only a 10K actually get a lot of positive response because there are only a few of those longer distance races, right? And when we getting involved with somebody who is now starting to put on a first time event or so, we always suggest to them put also a 10K into the schedule, because you will get people like Curtis, Shelan and so on that are looking for those long. They're not interested in the 5Ks. They interested in longer than that, 10, 15 or 20K kind of things. Right now 20K, which is a half marathon, is difficult to organize, to find a road that is peaceful enough. And I think there we're talking again about international marathon. The UV half is a completely closed course. Athletes love that because you don't have to worry about cars. And unfortunately, the international marathon is not that. You're fighting along with cars on your road, and athletes just don't appreciate that.
Okay.
Right? And I think Trinidad, wanting to promote itself for sports tourism, has to think about where we position ourselves in that. How much will we be willing to inconvenience ourselves to push events like the International Half Marathon, to close a road for a day or so, and send drivers on other streets, take a chance of causing some traffic somewhere in order to have an event like this, because international runners expect a half marathon to be without cars.
Definitely, but I guess we'll have to include the commissioner on that and a few other people as well. But in terms of the half marathon this year, and well, the relays in particular too, because some would say that is perhaps what is going to drive the future of long distance running, relays, and getting more people involved. Well, I took part in the relay this time around.
Yes.
One observation I would have had, I'm not sure, but when the baton was passed, was there any way of knowing the splits of the various runners?
Not exactly at the passing of the batons. We had a couple of timing spots along the course where every time the baton would be registered, because it has electronic chip stuck to the inside of it, right? And every time you're passing one of our mats, that chip will be read and the information will be sent directly to us, to the timing office, right? And we have been, for the last 2 years since we in business, have been pushing the envelope when it comes to putting electronic timing forward and giving runners a new experience that they haven't had before. For example, your family can more or less live during event monitor your progress, because the results actually going on as they happen during the event, not just after the event. We pushing our results live onto our website, where you can see live progress at any time during the event, as long as we get internet, which is sometimes a little tricky. But otherwise, we right there for everybody to follow.
Now, Curtis, you've been running for years now.
Yeah.
How have you been? Have you changed the way you run in terms of how you measure your timing, and have you changed anything in particular with regards to that in terms of your timing of races?
Well, before evolution, it had like this time, and then after this get the timing after, like long after. But with evolution, I guess it died in evolving. That's the reason for evolution. It have like real time. So you get the times immediately. From before you had to wait a few hours before you get the exact time.
But when you were pacing yourself during, let's say, the recent half marathon, what do you use to pace yourself? Do you have a watch?
Yeah, well, I have a Garmin watch, so it works with GPS. So it tells you your pace, and each mile it will beep. So you can see your pace, like 5 miles or whatever.
And is it on point with their system as well? Like, say, when you started your
Usually it's maybe a second off, but it's not more than 2 seconds off. Usually in sync with their system.
What would cause that? Because, well, I use mine. Right? And it would have been...
Your finger will cause that.
Okay.
The timing system will, there are systems that start exactly on 0 when the gun is shot, because the gun is actually connected to the system. Sometimes the system is started manually, so our finger is as much as his finger the determining point whether we dot on or not. Right? Maybe Curtis doesn't get it right on the first time, and that will cause a half second or so off. Right? So that causes little variations. At the end of the day, the system time that is running on our computer will be the time that determines what he gets. And while we appreciate his input from his GPS, we usually don't need that. Right? It sometimes is helpful because, like everything, those little tags can fail just as much as anything else in the world. Right? So there may be one every so often. The read rate that we have is almost 100%. I guess it is as close as you can before. No manufacturer would say we will ever have 100%, right? But our partners in Germany say the read rate is about 99.98%. That is almost as close as possible, right? And still, you may have the one or the other, and then that comes in handy. We send them an email and say, can you please send us your Garmin data or so? And then we look at that and we reconstruct if that is needed.
All right. Well, gentlemen, thanks for coming. We have much more to talk about in the coming weeks. Well, we have 5Ks that go frequently. But when we come back, we do have a participant that took part in the half marathon from the Rock Buddies Transformation Series. We'll be right back.